Hello and welcome back to another certified OG shifting video. A few weeks ago you saw that we put a cheap eBay turbo kit on our E36, and today our mission is very simple. How much power is this $800 turbo kit really pushing down, and how long will Eddie last? We're gonna find out today. Enjoy the video. Yeah, another day, another certified OG shifting video. Today, as you can probably already guess, it's either going to be the best day ever for Eddie or the worst day ever and Eddie is going to blow up. Because today we are at TPS Performance here in Munich. Eddie is still not running completely. Marco and Hofi are with us today as kind of a mental support. Today's mission is very simple. Eddie is going to go into the dyno today and we're gonna tune Eddie to see if Eddie runs properly and also to see how much power Eddie is making. I hope Eddie is going to last a bit longer than the dyno tuning today. We promised Tony from TPS Performance that Eddie is not going to blow up on his dyno, because otherwise we're gonna have a huge problem with all the oil everywhere. So that's pretty much our only mission. We're gonna have to look at the setup later because they did a little fine tuning as well. Eddie is now running perfectly fine at idle, only we have some issues when driving. So we need to fix that and then we can hopefully take it for the first drive today as well. I think it looks actually pretty cool like this. Ja, das passt eh.
Nochmal aus, nein.
Junge, Alter, da musst du aufpassen, dass der in der Mitte nicht durchfliegt.
I don't know why, they're not talking very nicely about Eddie here. The funny thing is, if you look at it from really far away, it actually looks very nice. But the closer you get, the shittier the car gets. This here is terrible. So was Geiles hast du noch nie gesehen.
Nee, machen wir auch nicht.
Es dauert ein bisschen zum Aufmachen.
Jetzt.
Da ist der Loder.
Ja. Junge, das ist mal richtig Jugendforscht hier, Alter. Ich hoffe nur, dass du nicht reißt jetzt, Alter.
By the way, they did a little work, like I said. We now have a blow-off ventil, and they also kind of made sure that my engine is not gonna catch fire by basically wrapping this exhaust pipe here. It looks very cool in my opinion. Servus, Chef!
Grüß euch.
Haben wir schon mal so was Schönes gesehen?
Das ist mal ein schönes Rohr. Ja, ist geil. Da bin ich mal gespannt, was das wird.
Okay, one of the hoses already popped off without even driving, so...
Ja, genau.
Yeah, that's the issue. If you do one pipe from the intercooler all the way to the engine, you don't really have much room for error. So we're gonna try to fix that really quick before the car goes onto the dyno. Also, TPS has nothing to do with this build. Tony was just kind enough to let us use his dyno and to kind of make a software for the car so that it at least somewhat runs. We did this all by ourselves as cost effective as possible. Like you can see in the build video, the whole kit together cost like 800 euros and the whole car cost like 3,000 euros. So it is very low budget, but that's the goal. Also, before anything happens, I have to say this car has 300,000 kilometers on it and it has seen better days. So we can't really guarantee that the car is going to survive today. I really hope it does, because I want to take it for a small test drive afterwards. So it's going to be a very interesting day today, I guess. So everything's back how it's supposed to be. The car is now ready for a 1000 horsepower dyno run. I'm very excited for this. So today is the day, Eddie. Just to keep in mind, if the engine explodes and we have oil everywhere, this is what we have to clean, and it's actually, yeah, it's not gonna be a fun time if the engine explodes here, because we have to clean all this shit, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass to clean. So let's just cross our fingers and hope that nothing explodes.
Ich bin schon ein wenig nervös jetzt, Alter.
Hey, ist aber cool.
Ja.
Sagen kannst du, was willst du ausprobieren? Schön.
Morgen.
Hast du schon mal Auto gesprengt?
Nee. Ich weiß, dass der Tag kommen wird, aber... Freitag.
Was sagst du leistungsmäßig? Was schätzt? Der Mani sagt 210. Was habt ihr gesagt?
248. Uiuiui. Zuversichtlich. Oder 658.
Okay, so really quick, the plan is... Yeah, so loud is that. Okay, so the plan is as following. Tony is gonna set up a remote connection to Fabi from Pure Boost Germany, and they do normally, you know, all the like BMWs with high horsepower engines, which I think is perfect for Eddie today. So Fabi is gonna try to do a fine tuning of Eddie so that the car runs at least very fine while driving and makes a little bit of more power than stock. Stock power is, by the way, 170 horsepower. Of course, 250 something would be the goal, but we'll see how that goes, I guess. Maximum boost pressure that we can run is probably 1 bar. Anything else than 1 bar is gonna blow up the engine. That's what we read on the internet, and I kind of believe that. So we have one small issue before we start this. We can't really control the wastegate, so we don't really know how much boost this car is making. First problem is, if the car is now stock making more than 1 bar pressure, we're gonna have a hole in the engine. And Mani already said correctly, we want to try with as little pressure as possible and work our way up. So we can't really control that. Was meckerst du da hinten?
Wenn ich den jetzt festziehe, kann es sein, dass wir hinten die Gepäckraum mal wieder rausreißen.
Das ist nicht so schlimm. Die kommt eh irgendwann raus.
Was habt ihr vor mit dem?
Wir wissen es eigentlich selber nicht genau.
Weil die Basis ist jetzt nicht die beste.
Wir restaurieren ihn.
Ja.
Okay, little update. We found out that the wastegate now is set to 1.6 bar, which is a bit too much for the engine. So we're gonna have to figure out how to open the wastegate a little bit.
Jetzt geht's auf. Das ist hier sozusagen umgepresst und die gibt's glaube ich mit 0,5.
Nein, ich lese da was da. Internet Wastegate maximal. Ja, wird das sein? Oder so? Was haben wir jetzt? 1 Bar. Nein, das. Ja, nachher können wir mit dem Taktventil können wir unten Druck regeln.
So, this wastegate now in this configuration produces around 1.6 bar pressure, which is a bit too much for this engine. Nearly double the amount the engine can hold. So we're gonna connect this to here and then
It will open.
it will open at 1 bar probably, which is a bit better for the engine. Still not ideal, but it's time for the first test run. We have a plan B in case this is too much boost pressure. It's gonna be a bit hood ghetto. We're gonna see if it works like this now. If it doesn't work, we're gonna move the whole
Wastegate.
a bit backwards so we have less pressure on here. Yeah, we're gonna keep it like this now, see how it works. Well, the first part is going to be to get the car running because we tested it last time, 3000 RPM. We have some minor problems. Max 180.
Ja, ist okay.
Ja, da mal da her, weil ganz beschränkt.
Well, some nachfüllen. Okay, we're ready for the first test run, I think. We're gonna have some issues at 3000 RPM, I guess. We're gonna see. It sounds amazing already. Okay, so far Eddie is burning a little bit of oil. You can smell it. And the exhaust is not really doing its job very well because we have the fumes coming up from here. But apart from that, and the fact that Eddie is stopping at 3000 RPM, everything seems to be fine so far. So we have to get rid of this 3000 RPM limiter and then we should be good to go. Und wie schauen wir aus?
Ja, Benzindruckprobleme.
Okay, so we think the 3000 RPM issue is caused by the fuel pressure sensor, no, fuel pressure regulator, or maybe the fuel pump. One of those two is the issue. Because the car is just not getting enough fuel, and that's why it's not going over 3000 RPM. Okay, short little update. We're checking how much fuel pressure we're getting. We have a theory. Back when I crashed the car in Poland, we used a small little filter of a 50cc bike, and we think maybe this is restricting the flow of the fuel. So we're checking here now how much fuel pressure we have. We should have around 3 bar. If we don't have 3 bar, we know that the problem is somewhere behind here. So it's either the fuel pump or then the fuel filter, which I hope it's the fuel filter, but we'll see.
Ach, stopp, Profi! Das Auto ist runtergerollt.
So this might actually be our issue. Because you can see this is not really meant for a car and it's probably also not meant for 3 bar fuel pressure. So we're gonna unplug this here and see how much pressure we have here, and then we're gonna unplug it here and see how much pressure we have here. And if that's the issue, we're just gonna have to roll the fuel filter away and burn it, and then hopefully it will work. It's actually really comfortable down here.
Probieren wir es mal, ja.
So this is gonna come instead of the fuel filter, and then we see how much pressure we have.
Du bist so froh, wenn wir wieder weg sind.
Servus. Frag einfach gar nicht. Wir wissen, eventuell das Problem. Wir haben nämlich einen Moped-Benzinfilter drin.
Profi immer unter der
Alter.
Ey, da leckt mein Fuß.
Der Rostbehandlung gemacht.
Mano.
We need 3 bar, so let's see how much we can get.
Wir haben 3 Bar da.
Ja, ja, haben wir. Start du und gib Gas einmal.
Nein, für letztes Mal. Auf die Saison nicht.
So you saw that it's not very constant and it's sometimes dropping below 2 bars, which probably means that we need a new fuel pump. A bigger one. Okay, new update. We now have a taxi with 4 different fuel pumps coming here. They are sent from Rosenheim, which is like 1.5 hours away. So in the meantime, while we wait for them to arrive, we're gonna eat some pizza, then see if any of the new fuel pumps is working on the car, and then see hopefully if that was the issue. Still waiting for the taxi driver to arrive. In the meantime, we got some fuel because
Ice cream.
and ice cream, of course. So the taxi arrived finally.
Der Kollege hat die Karte reingelegt. Wenn irgendwas ist, musst du den zurück anrufen, gell?
Das ist ein Schrubbler oder was?
Ja, weiß ich nicht.
Kannst du uns noch helfen?
Keine Ahnung.
Kannst du uns noch helfen einbauen?
Ja, nee, ich helfe nicht. Ich hab jetzt so eingebracht, ich mache einen und dann fahre ich wieder zurück.
Gib mir jetzt rumwerfen, wenn es da ist.
Na, wenn wir was brauchen.
Musst du zurück.
This is the new pump now. It is like 4 liters per minute, so it should theoretically work. It's also very much plug and play. Mehr oder weniger. We have fuel, we have a new fuel pump, we have everything needed to make Eddie run, hopefully. So let's see if that was the issue, because we still don't know if that fixes everything. But yeah, we'll see, I guess. Ja, warte mal.
Hier draußen, oder?
Ja, jetzt warte mal.
Ja, aber jetzt nicht angestellt.
Das ist 4.
Ist schon hergekommen. Lass mal nochmal warm laufen.
Great success, I think, I hope, I don't know.
Macht noch zu viel Sprit aus.
Zu viel Sprit?
Ja.
Ah.
Geil.
It sounds so good, I'm fucking excited. This is so fucking cool. Okay, so the car seems to be kind of running now. I think it's only now an issue of mapping the car, which Tony is doing right now, so let's just hope it works, I guess. Yeah, very disappointing, but we just tried it again and we have the same issue as before. I don't know why it was running a bit better now, but yeah, it's not anymore. So our plan is that Mani and me, we're going to come back in a few days. Tony, in the meantime, is going to order some new spark plugs. He's going to order some new coils and everything else that might be wrong with the car right now, because they can't even see the RPM of the engine and whatever. So yeah, we're having some pretty major problems that we can't solve today anymore because it's already pretty late. At least the fuel pump is working, so there's that. So I see you guys again in a few days with hopefully a better running Eddie. Hello and welcome back. It is now not only a few days later, but actually a few weeks later, because Eddie was having so many issues, but Tony and his team here at TPS, they basically took care of everything. They had the whole engine apart because they had to change so many things. We also had a boost leak somewhere. We don't really know if it's fixed now. Was war jetzt alles hier? Ganz kurz.
Neue Kerzen sind drin, neue Zündspulen sind drin, neue Kurbelwindsensor ist drin, Ventildeckeldichtung ist frisch abgedichtet, Kurbelgehäusentlüftung ist neu. Hier habe ich vorher noch reingemacht,
Ja.
weil da hat er auch rausgeblasen, jetzt ist er dicht.
Ja, perfekt.
Jetzt müsste es eigentlich besser laufen.
Yeah, passt.
Ja.
So, a lot of things to do. Like I said, Tony and his team, they basically took care of it in the last 3 weeks or something. That's also why I have new hair compared to when the video started. We are hopefully ready. Mani is back at home. He's doing some stuff to the GTR, so it's only me and Celine today. We are going to take Eddie for a small spin right now. First drive with turbocharged Eddie, and then we're gonna put it on the dyno, see how much power it's pushing down. Then we should be hopefully done. Tony already had it on the dyno once, but since we had boost leaks, it was only at 0.2 bar, which is not a lot. And it made 220 horsepower, which is 50 horsepower more than original. So yeah, let's see what we can do later. Yeah, let's see if Eddie likes it or not. Konzentriert du dich auf Eddie, der ist viel geiler. Hehehe. Bremse geht wieder. Perfekt. So we're gonna go for a small ride. Tony's gonna prepare the dyno in the meantime, and then hopefully if we bring back the car in one piece, we can take it to the dyno and see how much power it's pushing out. It's gonna be very interesting. Let's go to the gas station really quick. Also die Bremse bremst nicht sehr viel. Die müssen wir vielleicht noch machen, bevor wir einfahren. Kostet die Tankfüllung mehr als das Auto. Fällt er dir? Warum rinnt der Benzin aus? Also Eddie, the gift that keeps on giving. Ich glaube, das Problem ist... Ich weiß eigentlich gar nicht, was ich sagen soll.
Na, du ziehst aber eine Spur.
Klingt oder nicht schlecht. Ja, wir schauen mal ganz kurz, was mit dem Tank los ist. Und dann
Okay.
also gerade den lassen wir den Abfluss ist. Okay, we're gonna try it again on the dyno now. Test drive is postponed until further notice, but Eddie is at least not leaking anymore, which is very important. So we're gonna see what happens on the dyno. Ich glaube, da musst du ein bisschen vorfahren. Ich bin kein Experte, aber du hast ein bisschen einen nervösen Gasfuß, gibt mir viel.
Wie geht das? Fußball?
Selina hat gesagt, Eddie klingt, als da unter Wasser laufen, das SpongeBob. So, Eddie is ready to go on the dyno. By the way, this is the old dyno sheet of 0.2 bars. 210 horsepower and 330 pound-foot of torque, which is honestly very impressive for the stock engine. So we're gonna see what it's doing now with more boost. I think we're gonna get like 0.7, 0.8 bar of boost. And yeah, hopefully Eddie is not gonna blow up, because I definitely want to drive it properly afterwards. Anyway, we're gonna see how it sounds now. Revving up until 7,000 for the first time. I'm a bit nervous. I really hope Eddie is not gonna fucking disintegrate into 1,000 pieces today. Eddie. Das schaffst du. By the way, Fabi from Pure Boost is kind of tuning this car, and you guys, if you know Pure Boost, you know that this car is probably getting way more than it deserves, because the Pure Boost software is probably one of the best you can get for a BMW. So thanks to Fabi. Gonna see what this car makes now. I'm a bit nervous. That did not sound like a lot of power. At least Eddie is revving to 7,000 now, which is very good. It sounds a bit shit, the pops and bangs, I'm not a big fan of that. But it sounds like it's making a considerable amount of power, to be honest. But we need an open wastegate, I think, to make it sound even better. That sounded way better than before. The rev limiter now also sounds very cool. Oh my god, I can't believe Eddie is finally running with the turbocharger and it did not blow up, which is a very huge plus point. This is a great day for Eddie. Okay, we're ready to measure now. They have kind of set up everything. I don't know what's gonna happen. Oh! I can't believe this. So, I don't even know what to say. I wish Mani would see this right now, because that's not possible. So, we have around 0.8, 0.9 bar of boost with the turbocharger. And Eddie is currently making 290 horsepower on the engine and 390 newton meters of torque, which I don't even know how to describe. I think this is probably going to last half a day, if not even less, because originally the engine makes 170 horsepower, so we have 120 horsepower more now than before. Also, wie lange hebt es?
Es ist jetzt nicht übertrieben. Klar, er hat gewisses Alter und Kilometer, aber wenn es nicht mehr hebt, dann machen wir alles, was hebt.
Passt. I'm actually very happy. Eddie survived the dyno day. Eddie's shooting flames and Eddie's making nearly 300 horsepower out of basically a stock engine. We only strapped the cheapest turbocharger we can find on top of it. And basically TPS Tony did a complete engine rebuild of the last 3 weeks. But yeah, apart from that, Eddie is holding up strong. We're gonna bring Eddie back home now, where Eddie belongs. And yeah, then it's time for the first proper test of Eddie. Can't wait for that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna need to take Mani for a spin.
So now we all know how much power Eddie is really making with the eBay Turbo Kit. Very interesting if you ask me. After this, we drove Eddie back home and we took it for the first little spin the next day. But I'm not gonna show you this video. You're gonna have to wait until the next one. Because Eddie being Eddie, we did not have an easy time and Eddie was throwing a lot of errors at us. So be ready for the next video. Have fun guys. See you.